Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking on Capnclydes MTG. We're back again for more Karlov Manor spoilers. So let's get into it. But before we do, don't forget like, subscribe, comment, all that good jazz. Links in the description, along with plenty of other things. We're on Rumble. Memberships are up. We're gonna start doing live streams this weekend, and you can simply just subscribe. What else is it be? Watch some videos for me. That'll help out a lot. So, with all that said, guys, let's get into it as we plow through some more spoilers. So, we're going to start with the Cryptic Coat, blue and 2 artifact equipment. When it enters the battlefield, uh, cloak the top card of your library, then attach the coat to it. That means to cloak a card, you put it on the battlefield. It's 2/2 with Ward 2, which is way better than what you normally get. Creature gets +1/+0, can't be blocked, so it's a 3/2 unblockable for 3. Also great. The ability to return it to your hand so you can keep casting it and making guys makes this an incredible card. It's almost like drawing. Almost, for 5 mana. But hey, it's pretty good. It's going to be great in Limited, great in Commander. I might see some Standard play. That might be about as far as it goes if it's lucky. Next, we have the Living Conundrum. Blue and 4 for a 2/5 with hexproof. If you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, skip that draw instead. As long as there are no cards in your library, Living Conundrum has base power and toughness 10/10 and has flying and vigilance. I mean, I guess that's kind of a way to make a better library maniac that costs mana, I guess. Um, really good in Limited. Not so much in Commander. If you're doing something that's going to mill yourself out to make this a 10/10, probably got better things you could be doing. So, and for 5 mana, I don't think it's going to see a whole lot of standard play, but we'll have to wait and see. Next, we have the Case of the Shattered Pact. 2 colorless for this one. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it to your hand, then shuffle. Every deck's playing 4 of these, calling it. To solve it, there are 5 colors among permanents you control. It says, if unsolved, solve at the beginning of your end step. When it's solved at the beginning of your combat, on your turn, target creature you control gains flying, double strike, and vigilance until end of turn. There's going to be 4 of these in every deck. This just seems dumb good. Yeah, just every format, dumb good. Anyway, moving on, Neighborhood Guardian, white 1 for a 2/2. Whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, target creature you control gets +1/+1 till end of turn. That's fine for Limited, I guess. Cool picture. Alright, it's a Rift Burst Hellion. Green, red, and 5 for a 6/7 with reach. I guess because it's a Hellion? I don't know. Disguises for 6 mana. It's your basic okay card to fill a spot in Limited. Next we have Griffon Tracker, white and 3 for this 3/2 flyer. When he enters the battlefield, exile 2 target cards from sealed graveyard. Only good in limited play. A 4 mana 3/2 flyer is fine. Exile stuff out of the graveyard's also good. But in limited, the creature alone is just good enough. Next we have Soul Search, white and black sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. If you choose a non-land card from it, exile that card. If that card's mana value is 1 or less, create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. This is going to be really good in limited, commander, and probably standard 2 mana discard. I mean, it is 1 extra mana, but it's basically a Thoughtseize. And the ability to get a 1/1 is also awesome, which may make this playable in older formats, although 2 mana might be a bit much. But getting that 1/1 and getting something when you get something 1 or less might be something to that. Next we have the Exit Specialist, blue and 1 for a 2/1. It can't be blocked by creature's power 3 or greater, has Disguise, a blue and 1. When it's turned face up, return another target creature to its owner's hand. That is really good. So basically it's a 3 mana bounce spell because Disguise is 2, which is what its normal cost is. It takes 3 to put it face down, 2 to flip it up. Only going to see play in Limited probably, but it will see play in Limited because it is good tempo. Next we have the Outrageous Robbery, 2 black and X instant. This ought to be good. It's a rare. Target opponent exiles the top X cards of their library face down. You may look at You may look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. If you cast a spell this way, you may spend mana as though they were mana of any type to cast it. Wow, is that good? That's good in Limited. That's good in Commander. That's going to be good in Standard. This may be good in like Pioneer or something in those big heavy mana decks. You could just rummage through your opponent's library. I mean, this is basically 2 black mill your opponent. Exit X cards, the top of their library face down. I mean, this is a 2 black X mill card with the ability, if you can't mill them enough, you can just kill them with their own shit. This is going to be a very popular card. It's a single color. It's going to be easy to splash. I would keep an eye on it. I think it's going to be very high priced. Now, probably $5. Anyway, next we have the Doorkeeper Thrall. White and 1 for a 1/2 flash flyer. Artifacts and creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. This is amazing. We already had a creature like this that did the exact same thing without flash. Well, kind of the same thing. It shut down inner play abilities, but this does it for artifacts and creatures. It's 2 mana also. It's not legendary. This is going to be played in standard, probably limited, because a 2 mana 1/2 flyer with flash is just fine. Maybe commander. Who knows? Want to play a white Thrall in your Thrall deck? This is going to see some definite play with the ability to have flash, and may even see some sideboard action in older formats. Next we have Lumbering Laundry. It's definitely the laundry I got in my house. Anyway, 5 colorless for a 4/5 golem. 2 colorless. Until the end of turn, you may look at the face down creatures you don't control anytime. Until the end of turn. And it has a disguise of 5. I mean, I guess you could put it on the table and then play it later for 5. Probably fine for limited. Other than that, not so much. Hard-hitting question. 1 green. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. Great spell. Great for limited. We'll see a little bit of play inside standard, probably because it is 1 green, but it's a sorcery, and that's going to be a serious downfall for it. But this is going to be a good card if green's a thing. Agency Teamster. 2 blue and 4. Sphinx Detective has flying. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your graveyard, hand, and or library for a card named Magnifying Glass and or a card named Thinking Cap. Put them onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle. I mean, Magnifying Glass is okay. We're going to have to see what the Thinking Cap is before we find out if this is any good or not, because 6 mana for a 4/3 flyer is only good and limited. So we'll have to see what the Thinking Cap looks like. Next we have Leyline of the Guild Pack. This thing is so good. It's a Leyline, so obviously if it's in your opening hand, you can begin the game with it in play. Each non-land permanent you control is all 5 colors, and lands you control are every basic land type, so therefore they produce every color. Cool thing about this one, pro tip, you can split the mana up any way you want. It's a 5, and I heard people say, oh, it's a 5-color Leyline. No, it's not. It can be if your mana is jacked up, or you can just play a mono green deck and play it for 4 green. Picking up what I'm putting down? Green's the ramp color, so if you don't have green, it's okay. If you're heavy on green, it's also okay. This is going to be a good card. It's going to see a lot of Commander play. Other than that, I don't think it's going to see a lot of play, but in Commander, this is going to be pretty sweet. Gotta say. Next we have the Lamplight Phoenix, 2 red and 1 for a 3/3 flyer. When it dies, you may exile it and collect evidence 4. If you do, return Lamplight Phoenix to the battlefield tapped. Very nice. Luckily, this doesn't have haste. That would be god-awful. But 3/3 flyer that always comes back for free, basically, as long as you got stuff in your graveyard. I think it's going to be pretty popular. I'm not even going to lie. Limited. Standard. Probably some older formats as well. Next, we have Frantic Scapegoat. 1 red for a 1/1 with haste. When it enters the battlefield, you suspect it. So it's a 1/1 haste menace can't block for 1 red. Anyway, whenever one or more other creatures enter the battlefield under your control, if Frantic Scapegoat is suspected, you may suspect one of the other creatures. If you do, the Scapegoat is no longer suspected. I mean, I guess it's kind of cool because you can lay this for 1, punch him a few times, lay a better creature later, give it menace and can't block. This is definitely going to be in some of the mono red decks in standard just because of 1/1 with haste for 1 that has menace and can't block is just good enough sometimes. So, you know. Alright, eliminate the impossible. 1 blue and 1 instant. You investigate. Creatures your opponent controls get -2/-0 in a turn. If any are suspected, they are no longer suspected. Interesting. Just good enough for limited. That's probably really about it. Next we have Torch the Witness. Red and X. Torch the Witness deals twice X damage to target creature. If excess damage was dealt to that creature this way, investigate. That's pretty cool. It's a sorcery fireball creature kill only, and you get to investigate if you put a little extra into it. Probably only gonna be good enough for limited, maybe some commander play, but next we have the Alley Assailant, a black and 2 for a 3/3. Enters the battlefield tapped, has Disguise 6. When the assailant is turned face up, target opponent loses 3 life, you gain 3 life. Probably just good enough for limited, and that's it. We have the Flourishing Bloomkin, green and 1 for a plant elemental. When it gets +1/+1 for each forest you control. Wow, that's a good Tarmogoyf. Disguise, green and 4. When Bloomkin is turned face up, search your library for up to 2 forest cards, reveal them, put 1 into the battlefield tap, the other into your hand. This is amazing if you're playing just green. Like, on turn 2, this is a 2/2 for 2. On turn 3, it's a 3/3. On turn 4, it's a 4/4. You get what I'm going with here. And the ability late game to make this thing fetch up extra forests means that if you have enough 5 to flip it over, that means this thing is going to be a 6/6 for 2. Well, for 5, not 2. But the ones after that can be 2. Anyway, this is going to be great in standard. Limited, all-star. Probably good for commander to some degree if they're playing a monocolor. This might be good enough, and I think it probably is good enough for older formats like maybe modern. Because think about it, if you play a bunch of Shocklands, every Shockland's forest something, then every land's a forest, and this thing gets bigger than Tarmogoyf real quick, or with Tarmogoyf. Anyway, next we have Behind the Mask. 1 blue instant. Additional cost, you must collect evidence 6, kind of high. Till end of turn, target artifact or creature becomes an artifact creature, base power and toughness 4/3. If evidence was collected, it has a base power and toughness of 1/1 till end of turn instead. So, interesting. Pump your creature, shrink your creature. Just a limited combat trick at best. Rubble Belt Maverick. Blech. So, 1 green for a 1/1. Enters the battlefield, surveil 2. Not terrible. 1 green, exile it from your graveyard. Put +1/+1 counter on target creature. Activate only as a sorcery. This is fine for limited. Surveil's really big. Get to fix the top of your deck. Pump a creature later by exiling it. It can block once. Great for limited. That's about it, unfortunately. Next we have Rot Farm Mortipede. Anyway, black and 3 for a 3/4. Not terrible. Whenever 1 or more creature cards leave your graveyard, Rot Farm Mortipede gets +1/+1 and gains a menace and lifelink to end of turn. 4 mana for a 4/4 with menace and lifelink. Pretty good. Pretty good. Probably a limited only all-star, but we have Offender at Large. I get it? Large. Anyway, we have a Giant Rogue. It's a red and 4 for a 5/4. It has Disguise 5. When the Offender at Large enters the battlefield or is turned face up to 1 target creature gets +2/+0 to end of turn. And limited at best. Limited at best. Next we have Conspiracy Unraveler. 2 blue and 5 for this Sphinx Detective. Sphinx. Anyway, it's a 6/6 flyer. You may collect evidence 10 rather than paying the mana cost for spells that you cast. Interesting. This would be really hot as a commander card. Because you could just cast anything by getting rid of stuff in your graveyard. And if you, I don't know, use blue and mill half your deck because you want to, then casting stuff in your hand becomes real easy, real cheap, real fast. So, yeah. However, though, 7 mana 6/6 is probably okay and limited, but if we get this far, it's probably already game over. Um, and the ability to evidence 10 is just a bonus, because if you have 7 mana and limited, you ain't casting anything by collecting evidence for 10. So, we'll just say that. Probably good for commander, but that's going to be about it. Next we have Caught Red-Handed, red and 4 for this instant spell can't be countered. Gain control of target creature at the end of turn, untap the creature, it gains haste at the end of turn, and then suspect it. Might be okay and limited. Next we have Affair du Festin du de Lassie. Anyway, what it really says is Case of the Forsaken Feast, 1 white. So, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. Cool. To solve it, you have gained at least 5 life this turn. If it's unsolved, you solve it with your step. Solve it, sacrifice the case. Creature cards in your graveyards gain. You can cast this card from your graveyard until end of turn. That is amazingly good 4 white card. Just putting it out there. This is like a reverse wrath for 1 white. Just saying. Standard, commander, limited. Hell, this is going to be good in the older formats. It's 1 white, for God's sakes. I mean, if you're playing creatures. So, yeah, this is something. Next, we have the Curious Inquiry. 1 blue enchantment or enchant creature. Enchant creature gets +1/+1 it has. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, investigate. At least it's not draw a card. We got enough of that crap running around. At least now you get tokens that you have to spend 2 mana to draw with. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Limited only in All-Star, though. But anyway, Forensic Toolsmith. Blue and 2 for a 2/3. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you investigate. Activated abilities of artifacts you control cost 1 less to activate, and the effect can't reduce the mana cost to less than 1. This is an amazing card. Here's why. Clues cost 2 to tap and sacrifice. With this, for 1 mana, you sack a clue and draw a card. Amazing rate! Not to mention any other artifacts you may play. This is going to be really great in Commander. In the Emery decks, it's all artifacts. This is just going to be a boon to that deck. It'll be great in Limited if you have a lot of artifacts. Maybe good in Standard if we have enough artifact abilities to make it useful. Because the 3 mana 2/3 is not terrible, to be fair, in Standard. Plus, you know, the ability to cast an artifact spell, investigate, draw a card. Like there could be some synergies here, and it's not legendary. So keep that in mind, guys. Next we have, oh look at that, we got another split card in the house. This is Cease and Desist. Love it. So green or black and 1 to cease, exile up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard. Target player gains 2 life and draws a card. That is amazing. Then we have Desist. 2 white, 2 green, 4 colorless. It's 6 mana total. Those are split mana, sorry. Destroy all artifacts and enchantments. Very interesting. The fact that as long as you're playing green, you can cast either side of this makes it usable. But the cease side of it, really sweet. This will probably see some sideboard action because of the gain life and draw a card, along with nuking some graveyard hate. Yeah, I like this card a lot. Not gonna lie, I like it a lot. So, with that said, guys, thanks a lot for watching. That's the end of it. We are going to cease and desist this YouTube video. But anyway, so thanks a lot for watching, guys. Till next time, be kind. And as always, I hope to see you across from the game table. I will now cease and desist myself out of here.